go. While Jack's away, it's my turn to dance. My turn to play. My turn to play. You won't stand a chance.
Hello, welcome to another Sunday live stream, everybody. I don't know where to set my phone today. How's everyone doing today? It's time to get hype. Everything's been announced for HHN 32 in Orlando. Is it raining where you guys are right now? Because it is absolutely raining here. So if we have any issues today, it's not my internet. It's the rain. It's the rain. But we have a lot to talk about today. There's quite a lot. But welcome in. If you guys haven't joined us before, we are the Horror Fiends. But I'm sure a lot of you have joined us before at this point. But again, there's a lot to talk about today, so we're going to dive straight into it. But I wanted to open up with a question. It is a question I asked Amber earlier. And actually, maybe a few questions. But I'll start with the first question here. And if you haven't popped into the stream, we do talk to chat quite a bit throughout. There are times where I go on tangents and rants or whatever about HHN. But anyway, the question, when you guys go to HHN, this is what I asked her earlier. We're watching a Pew 2 video. If you guys haven't checked them out, they're massive Universal creators, theme park creators. But I asked her, I said, when you go to HHN, do you go for the scare zones or for the houses? And you can't say both, right? What is your preference? Do you prefer the scare zones over the houses, or do you prefer the houses over the scare zones? I asked her, and she couldn't give me an answer. So I want to know what you guys think.
It caused me like a midlife crisis trying to think of that. So, maybe you guys can have better answers than I did.
Yeah, so let us know. What do you prefer? I feel like it's a tough question because they're great on both fronts. So that's how I want to open it today. We know all the scare zones. We know all the houses. So when you go to HHN in years past, do you go for the scare zones or the houses? You can only pick one. You can only pick one. That is completely up to you. So let us know, and we will find out. But anyway, second question I wanted to ask while you guys think about the answers to that one is, have you bought your tickets yet? Have you bought your tickets to HHN 32 yet? It is literally 33 days away from now. In a few days, it's literally going to be exactly a month. Speculation season's done. Speculation season's done. Have you gotten your tickets? Because, I mean, I guess it depends on when you're going. But for us, we like to get our tickets early because we go opening weekend, and that tends to sell out in years past. But have you gotten yours yet? Let us know. So there's 2 questions for you guys to open up the stream today. But there's a lot to talk about. So let us know in the comments or the live chat.
Well, I can basically tell you that the general consensus is a lot better answered than
you were?
I was. They seem to all just automatically say houses.
Houses?
So, I don't know how I feel about that.
There's no wrong answer.
Because I had a real hard time. Because I have the internal battle of I really, really, really enjoy the scare zones, but I feel like it should be for the houses.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I would answer the question because I love the houses, right? The houses are great. But at the end of the day, like, if you go to HHN as much as we do, I don't know if, you know, people in here, the viewers watching, do go to HHN as much as we do, but we go quite a lot. So there's times where we just sit in the scare zones and, like, people watch. We'll just sit there with, like, some food or something, and we'll just people watch. And you can't do that in a house. You can't just sit in a house. That's impossible. You're in a conga line through it.
Yeah.
So that's the one perk of scare zones. You can stay in the ambience of HHN while still, like, just chilling. In houses, you have to continuously walk through. But there is a lot of perks. The houses, too. I mean, the Horror Nights houses I've been through in the past are, like, great memories for me. Like, I've talked about this before, but in HHN 25, my first house I went to was Jack's house. Was the Monsters and Mayhem, 25 years of Monsters and Mayhem. That was my first ever, like, approach and introduction to HHN, and that is forever a core memory for me. I mean, that house is fantastic, and I think because it was such a core memory for me, I have a hard time comparing houses nowadays to that house, which, I mean, Icons captured. If you watch the channel, I've mentioned this in videos before, but I'm an Icon fanboy. But Icons Captured almost got there, I feel like. But I don't know, 25 with Jack's freaking house, man. But I don't know. That's a hard question. That's a hard question. What are they saying?
Just a continuous answer of houses, 100% houses for the win. Scare zones are just a bonus.
Oh, what's up, Zombie Chris? Welcome in. Welcome in, dude. If you guys don't know who Zombie Chris is, awesome creator. Check him out. I watch him quite frequently. I love the way his videos are stylized. So make sure you check him out. Great creator. A lot of Horror Nights content. But welcome in. Welcome in, Zombie Chris. Welcome in. But consensus is houses?
Yeah.
So no one likes scare zones? Why do they make scare zones for you guys then?
Because I had the wrong... Just leave the scare zones to me.
Yeah, why is the scare zone so packed, guys? Like, what? No, I'm joking.
Someone said, in your opinion, what is the best icon?
All right. Y'all are going to hate me. Okay, I have two. One I experienced, one was before my time. Okay, my top favorite icon, hers differs. I'll let her answer after. Top icon for me, and I mean, it kind of is obvious, you know, with what I just said about the house. top icon for me is Jack. That's my top. But the more I like got into HHN, more I started to appreciate the older years, especially when we did that deep dive. Bloody Mary, man. Bloody Mary was a fantastic icon that we will never get again. Never get again.
Heartbreaking.
No, Bloody Mary and Jack are my tops. We'll see what happens this year, though. Oddfellow has potential.
Definitely.
But, I don't know. We'll see. What about you?
Well, obviously, I don't know.
I thought you would have an answer to this.
Chance.
Yeah, Chance, right?
Yeah. There's just like an internal debate of like I love all of them so much, but I do have to, I guess, give my favorite towards Chance. But Bloody Mary is a close second for sure.
Bloody Mary is fantastic. If you went to 2008, let me know, because that's something I wish I could have experienced. I feel like that was a fantastic year for houses, for scare zones, and then the icon. I don't know. But, so still the consensus houses here?
Yes. And then everybody else is kind of putting their opinions in on icons. Always been Jack, but hyped for Oddfellow.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everybody else says Jack too.
Jack is fantastic. Like, Jack obviously had to put some respect on Jack's name, right? He was the first one.
Of course, we have the Usher and Caretaker as well.
Okay. Usher is fantastic. Caretaker's great.
And then, oh gosh, where'd it go? Hello, Lady Luck. I like Lady Luck. I like her.
No, Lady Luck is not bad, and I will say this every time I talk about Lady Luck. She just wasn't as interesting as the other icons to me.
They could have, I guess, expanded a little more.
Right, I feel like they could have built such a big lore. But
she was really cool. Like, her whole concept was really cool.
Her concept was cool. She's the goddess of luck, right? The goddess of luck, or whatever it is. Yes, her like, what they could have built off of what they already had is great. But they didn't.
But you also have to think that, like, a few of the other icons that we do love are also kind of just, like, their lore pertains to that one year, and they're just also in the lantern.
Are you disrespecting Jack's name right now? Because I'll tell you right now, his lore is far more expanded.
Jax is, but some of the other icons...
Bloody Mary. Well,
Okay, well, like... Storyteller.
Who likes storytelling?
No, but I'm trying to make a point. What is her lore, like, outside of her year? Like, where else does she connect besides just being, like, Jack's bestie? Like, part of the crew.
Storyteller?
Yeah.
She has a big lore.
Am I, like...
Are you thinking about the wrong person?
Okay. Am I just wrong and Lady Luck is, like, the only one that actually doesn't connect to anything?
Yes. So, how Lady Luck... You guys don't care about this right now. But, how Lady Luck came, right? They had all the icons, even Bloody Mary, before 20.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were all, like, shown in 20 as fierce heralds. Like, Jack was chaos.
So
Caretaker was death, you know.
Yeah.
Storyteller was legend or whatever it was. And then you're like, okay, they close the chapter. They're all trapped in the lantern. 20's over. Next year. Then a random icon shows up the next year with no big backstory. How'd she even get into Fear's Lantern in 30? Like... That's never expanded on.
I guess you're not wrong. I picked the wrong one to try and make my
Lady
point.
If they did Lady Luck, let's say they did Lady Luck previous, like before 20, and actually tied her into that lore there, that would make more sense to me.
It would. I just picked, like, the way wrong one to try and make my point there.
Yeah, you said Storyteller, who literally her whole year was based off of a book. Like, she has so much lore. But, anyways...
Sorry that you had to witness that.
Yeah. See, this is what I was talking about, guys. I go on, like,
I'm just a Lady
tangents.
Luck defender, okay?
Like I said, Lady Luck is a great concept.
But you just said she was boring.
She's boring. She's a great concept, but not well executed.
I don't think she's that boring. I think you're just a hater.
And, like, her year wasn't great. Like, obviously, I didn't go to her year. Like I said, 25 was my first. But, like, when I researched her year, she wasn't in any house. Literally, they just put posters and, like, little, like, poker chips of her in houses. Like, I don't know.
Okay, well, since we're...
And then she just let the Walking Dead years happen after that. I say put Walking Dead year hat on.
I'm, like, trying to scroll up, see what we're missing. since we decided to just have our, like, couples argument.
See, this is what I was talking about, guys. I go on, like, tangents, though. Tangents.
Fear was pretty cool,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Fear.
but really just sat on his throne, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do love Fear. Very much.
Yeah.
Caretaker, director.
Director is a good one. Director is pretty good, yeah.
She was the only other icon who was part of all the scare zones.
Yeah.
Chance really needs a backstory.
Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna build on that.
I don't know. And then we did hear about the, I'm gonna not be able to say this correctly, but the Monsters of Latin America house. We did hear about that.
Oh yeah, we were just watching that live stream. If you guys don't know, we don't really cover Hollywood because we're just Orlando people. We've always gone to Orlando. We live in Florida. Never been to Hollywood. Just knew more, not even normally Universal in Hollywood. So we don't know too much about what goes on in Hollywood with HHN over there. But yeah, we were watching the John Murdy live stream at Midsummer Scream before we started this. But
I'm gonna accidentally skip all these comments just to go to this one. Zombie Chris said, "What kind of cookies do you think the storyteller would make?" And I have the perfect answer.
Okay.
The oatmeal raisin.
Oh, ew.
Because you're expecting great things,
Yeah.
and it's not.
Oatmeal raisin. All right, there's your answer. There's your answer now.
What's your answer? Because you're not gonna beat mine.
Weed cookies.
Why would she do that?
I don't know. Nah, that'd be if Jack made cookies.
Let's see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess your answer's probably good.
The
Whatever a gross cookie is for a gross lady.
Oatmeal raisin.
Yeah. Or just burnt. She just gives you burnt cookies.
Just burnt cookies. You don't even know what they are because they're so burnt. Said Lady Luck commercial is good.
Yes, like I said, the concept and the art and the everything behind it was great. I just feel like the execution going into the event was not. But
Guess I can understand.
I might be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I didn't attend that year. I just researched it, so.
Then we have Nate Has Died said, Hollywood is my home part, but I definitely love seeing what happens in Florida.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys look like you have some cool stuff coming to Hollywood from what we were seeing. And we were talking about this during that live stream. I think it's still happening. But when we were watching that live stream that's currently happening, we were like, we wish Orlando did this. Like,
Yeah.
we wish we got announcements that way instead of just like a big dump, right? Like, we just got a big dump like a few days ago.
Which, like, obviously that's cool and everything because we've been, like, itching to know everything that's gonna happen this year. But there's also, like, just sitting and watching that stream in our living room. Like, we're not going to Hollywood, but I still felt that, like, oh my god, what's happening? Like, and if
Yeah.
it was Orlando, I don't know.
And like, they could easily do that, I feel like, at Spooky Empire, right? Unless there's not, well, Spooky Empire is too early. Because there's usually a Spooky Empire in, like, May. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a cool way to announce things. On a panel, I don't know, for Orlando.
One of our horror conventions needs to invest in doing an August date.
No, but that would be really cool. But, oh well. But anyways, I'm gonna keep, let's see.
Doing RIP in Hollywood this year. No longer can do these lines on hectic nights. Yeah, I understand why you would do that. I wish we could do RIP. Maybe one year.
RIP is an investment for sure. Yes, it is.
And then, I wonder if Evil Dead is coming to Hollywood.
That's
if it is, I will be very, very jealous.
That's the consensus of what I've heard, apparently. Like I said, I don't keep up with you guys over there. But that's what I've heard from all the, quote-unquote insiders.
Yeah. And, whenever the spec maps come out for Orlando, they usually put the Hollywood out with it. And we kind of look at that, but that's as much as we see about Hollywood, really.
Yeah. I don't know, but it does seem very interesting over here.
We do not have a tram in Orlando, which...
I wish we did. I wish we still had, which I know it's got destroyed and for other, creations, but I wish we had the Psycho House and the Bates Motel. Because that would be amazing. Like, I know we used to,
Yeah, and I think like the whole concept of like the tram for Horror Nights in Hollywood is really, really neat, and I'd like to be able to experience that, but who knows when we will ever be able to go to Hollywood. It's quite the trip.
Yeah. It is quite the trip. But, okay, so you can keep reading chat, but I'm gonna dive
Pretty
straight
much
into this,
caught.
guys. I'm gonna dive straight into this. If you guys didn't know, obviously HHN Orlando dropped their big announcement that they do basically the past 3 years that they've been doing. Dropped everything, the houses, the scare zones, and the show, and the experiences. So if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna dive into it. We're gonna talk about it, let you know our thoughts on it. Even if you've seen the previous video I just put out about it a couple days ago, she wasn't in it, so now you can get her opinion as well. So we're gonna dive straight into it. Keep sounding off in the chat though. Like I said, we do continuously read the chat throughout. But
Do RIP
we're gonna
tours
dive
a
into
business
this.
expense?
What's up?
I said do RIP tours a business expense.
Oh yeah, write-offs everywhere. All right, so we're gonna dive straight into this. First thing, obviously, when you come to the quote-unquote website for HHN, you're gonna have The Exorcist popped up in your face because that is the most recent IP that was announced with this big drop. But we're gonna skip that for now. And go straight into this here. 10 terrifying haunted houses coming this year. Enter haunted houses inspired by the biggest names in fear. You're never quite sure if your spine is tingling with dread or sheer excitement. So we're going to dive into the houses first, and then we will get into the scare zones and things like that. But, guys, this is everything for HHN 32 over in Orlando. So, speculation season's done. We had a great speculation season with a dry announcement season. Yeah, but
Glad it's
speculation
here.
season's done, so we know everything about it. At this point, I can say confirmed because Universal confirmed it. I've tried before, if you've attended these live streams, I try not to use the word confirmed back in speculation season because I don't want to confirm anything unless Universal did. But everything's confirmed here, guys. This is exactly what we are getting. So, I'm going to talk about the houses we already know too. First off is going to be Stranger Things 4. Try to escape the curse of Vecna. You'll need your squad to resist Vecna's gruesome curse. Like 11, now is your chance to stop him once and for all as you take on the scariest season of Stranger Things yet. So, Stranger Things is back at HHN. We've known this for a while now. It was announced a while ago. How are you guys feeling about it? Are we excited for Stranger Things? Yes? No? Put 1 in the comment if you're excited for Stranger Things. 2 if you couldn't care less about Stranger Things. Let us know. 1 or 2?
It's all twos.
How do you feel about it?
2.
2? You don't care about it?
I'm joking. No. Very, very excited for Stranger Things. It's very nostalgic for me. My first year of Horror Nights, they had a Stranger Things house. 29 was my first year, so I'm excited to go back to a Stranger Things house.
You got the not the great year.
Yeah, but, as it being my first experience to Horror Nights, I remember walking in and being like, is this just a Stranger Things event? Because everything was 80s, and everybody was dressed like Stranger Things, and it was really, really cool. So I'm hoping for, just that, excitement around Stranger Things that was there in that year. And obviously, there's really iconic scenes in Stranger Things 4 that I'm really, really excited to see in the house.
So, we're getting a bunch of 1s, some 2s. Chris said it was the worst kept secret. Yes, yes it was. We all knew it beforehand. We knew this was coming. I mean, we'd known about it basically since last year at this point. Because, last year was on the spec map and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I am personally excited for it. I mean, it could go both ways. This is how I've looked at it since we got the announcement, right? Even since we were speculating it. In 2018, they did Stranger Things Season 1. That was a fantastic house. That was a really good house. I don't know if you agree with me, but 2018 was a fantastic house in my opinion. So, and that covered just 1 season, right? Then you get to 2019 with Stranger Things 2 and 3 that it covered in 1 house. And I feel like that was the kind of gripe with it, was that there wasn't enough, room to cover everything, right? And then there was a bunch of mannequins, static people. There wasn't scare actors. The whole reason I'm actually excited for it this year is because, again, we're going to be covering 1 season. And finally, this has been confirmed by John Murdy over in Hollywood. The kids are now old enough in this season to actually be portrayed by actors, right? We had girls playing Mike and stuff before, but now we can actually have boys playing Mike. We're going to have the girls playing the girl characters. So we might see less of these static mannequin figures throughout of it. And it's only one season, and one of the best seasons, if I might say, of Stranger Things that has come. This is the one season that when we watch the season, we're like, we want to see this in a haunted house. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm actually excited for Stranger Things. Like, it could be really good. And I feel like the makeup in the house for just Vecna alone could be fantastic, right? So that's how I feel about this one here. But let's keep going. We're going to get into the one we were just talking about, and that is The Exorcist Believer, based on the film that is coming out in October, the Blumhouse film, requel of the original. So, The Exorcist Believer and Evil Reawakened. Two missing girls have been found with no memory of what happened to them. But wherever they went, the ultimate evil has returned with them. Enter the most terrifying scenes from the new Blumhouse film. Okay. So, a long time ago, I guess, not too long, like months, we had The Exorcist Believer on the Horror Night Nightmare spec map. And we're like, oh, that's weird, because that film doesn't come out before HHN. Like, what are we going to get a massive spoiler when we walk into this house? Then it was, on the next spec map, just changed to the classic Exorcist, the one we had in HHN 26, and the one you guys have over in Hollywood, like, every year. And we're like, okay, I mean, some people were hyped about it, some people weren't. Some people didn't like the 26 house because the Exorcist house, I mean, was basically the same room over and over again. But then it was announced The Exorcist Believer. So they were right on the first spec map. We are getting The Exorcist Believer, the one that is coming out in October. So, do you guys think this is a massive spoiler alert? Maybe. This is one thing we got from it. We recently, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, we listened to the podcast that Universal put out, the Discover Universal podcast, where they talked about each one of these houses after they were announced, and like where they went into Dr. Oddfellow, which we'll get into later. But they specifically talked about this one, and about the whole it coming out later. They basically said when you walk through the house, it's going to be like a living trailer. Like, it's not going to spoil the film. It's going to basically give you a tease of what you're going to watch in theaters, is what I got from that.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel better about it, right? Because, like, obviously I want to see the movie. Like, I was an Exorcist fan of the original. I think it's a great film. A little skeptical about this one because it's made by the guy who made Halloween Ends. But I want to see the movie in theaters, right? I don't want to get it spoiled, but I mean, if it's a living trailer, right? If it's, going to get you hyped for the film, I feel like that's great. I feel like if Horror Nights is happening the opening day of this film, and you go to Horror Nights and then walk out and go to the Cinemark Theater and City Walk to this film, that'd be fantastic, right?
Imagine planning a night of going to this, see the movie, go back in and do it again.
Yeah, right? I think that's great. So I actually am excited for this. I don't know what you guys are saying. Are they...
Well, it's definitely not my most anticipated IP for the year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Someone said previews of upcoming films as full houses don't work out that well. And then Zombie Chris said felt like the trailer put out the scenes we would see in the house, which is kind of how I'm feeling. Because there's a lot of different places that are in that trailer, and a lot of things that are happening in the trailer that are very creepy, very scary, and could just be put in the house and not really spoil anything.
But me personally, I'm excited for this. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, it may change once we get through the house. We'll see. But I actually am excited for this. But let's keep moving along to one we already know. We're about to get into two, technically, we already know. But The Last of Us. This is on a lot of people's, hype. This is, their number 1 or number 2 spot, right? So The Last of Us. We know this. It was announced months ago. But step into the world of The Last of Us. You and your squad will encounter the haunting and overgrown world of the video game in a brand new, terrifying way. Stay resilient if you want to survive a multitude of clickers, hunters, and more. Okay, I'm very excited for this house. The level of excitement I have for this house is crazy. I played the game when it came out in 2013 on a PS3, and it's one of the best video games I've ever played. And to see that in a house, like I know a lot of people now follow the show, like the HBO show with Pedro Pascal, that really got them into The Last of Us and why it's probably going to be so massive this year. But no, I'm very excited for this, not only because it's The Last of Us, but because it's a video game house coming back to HHN. And they haven't had that at HEH. Oh my god.
HEH?
Oh my god, you heard that? We haven't had that at HHN in a long time. We haven't had like a video game. Like, I don't remember the last one we had. I don't know if it was Silent Hill or Resident Evil was the last. One of those two. I'm sure you guys can correct me in chat. But yeah, no, I'm very excited for The Last of Us. The only gripe I'll say I'll have with it, right? I understand it's like a 10 plus hour game. It's a lot of story, a lot of cutscenes, a lot of basically lore to have inside one, soundstage or parade building. But they're doing Pittsburgh. They're doing one little segment of a massive story. So I'm hoping, like, I know some people are going to go into this house, right, that don't know the game.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to know the show, or they may not even know anything about The Last of Us. And you're going to drop them in Chapter 4 of The Last of Us without any story behind that. I don't know. I'm hoping there's some build-up, at the beginning of the house, or maybe even the queue line, to kind of get people like acquainted with what The Last of Us is, what the story is up to the Pittsburgh point. Because I feel like for a lot of people that don't know what The Last of Us is, they're going to be really confused when they step in, right?
Yeah.
Even if you just watch the show, I mean, they covered Pittsburgh, but like not hugely. Like, if this is a whole house based on Pittsburgh, they're probably going to get into nitty-gritty of what happened in Pittsburgh in the game. But either way, I know the story, she knows the story, so we're excited for it. We're excited to go through this house. Like I said, with the Vecna makeup, this is going to have great makeup, dude. Like, if not makeup, then masks with the whole clickers and bloaters and things like that. I'm very excited for that. I'm more excited for the zombie aspect, I guess, more than, like, hunters, like people trying to just kill you.
Yeah. Resident Evil was the last video game house.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the one with the pause screen, right? The pause screen in the middle of the house.
That's sick.
Yeah, no, but I am very excited because there's a lot they can do with this house just in set design. Like, one thing about The Last of Us is that it's so overgrown, that it's such a pretty dystopian atmosphere, which is a weird words to say together in one thing. But The Last of Us really, like, gets that. It's not like The Walking Dead where it's like everything's destroyed, everything's gross. The Last of Us is like everything's overgrown, there's plants growing here. It's pretty. And I feel like there's so much they can do as far as set design to like portray that.
All I need to know is if there's going to be a giraffe.
Giraffe's not in Pittsburgh.
It's not?
No.
Well, they should put it in there anyways.
I don't believe Pittsburgh's the giraffe.
I don't know. I sat down and watched a whole, 9-hour playthrough of The Last of Us, so it all meshes together at this point. Today's just a stream of me saying stupid stuff.
What? But how do they feel about Last of Us?
Trying to find where it started back up. Someone said The Last of Us is the only reason they're going to HHN this year, so I guess we're feeling pretty good about it.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you right now, is this your first year? Or no?
We're pretty much caught up. I guess while we're waiting for that person to answer, someone did say, what was your opinion on the Weekend house?
The Weekend? Okay, so this is how I approached the Weekend last year. I was like, what? Like, before I went into it, right? I was like, what? When it popped up on the spec map, I was like, huh? An artist house? The Weekend?
The Weekend?
I was like, yeah. Billie Eilish, when that was speculated, 4:30 or whatever, I was like, okay, weird, but, like, I understand, because Billie Eilish is creepy. But The Weekend? That was so weird. I was like, what? Then I watched the music videos, right? We're like, okay, there's some stuff they could do here. And then we got to the house. The house was fantastic. Hands down. That was an amazing house. I loved the Weekend house. That's weird to say now.
Yeah.
Knowing me, like, back then was like, what? But no, yeah. I actually really liked it. And I'm like, I didn't think about the fact that I did Alice Cooper a while ago. So artist houses have been done, and they've done a magician house and stuff like that in the past.
Just
I just didn't think about that before.
Yeah, but the weekend was like very like just surprising because you don't put together that the weekend did things that could be scary and could be creepy.
Yeah.
But it was a pleasant surprise, and now everything the weekend just reminds me of HHN.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But
the giraffe is in Seattle near the end of the game.
Yeah,
Thank you for the correction.
See, I told you.
Let's see.
All right, while she's looking at chat, we're going to move to the next house. And that is the one we already known somewhat, right? We knew a little bit about. And that was Chucky. We didn't have a name for it back then. We just had Chucky, and we're like, okay, Chucky house coming. Was announced last year at the end of HHN. We're like, cool. Announcement during HHN. Announcement season's going to be packed this year. No, it wasn't. But it's called Chucky Ultimate Kill Counts. Chucky's back for even more carnage. Chucky, the serial killer doll, is back for a new gore fest. He's hijacked his own haunted house with all kinds of bloody hijinks. You and your friends must try to survive his ultimate kill count. Okay, so a big thing, if you aren't excited about the Chucky house, right? If you're like, Chucky, ugh, like, whatever. We did that in 19. We did that in HHN 19. We don't need that again. But I would recommend listening to that Discover Universal podcast that we listened to, because it's completely different than what I thought it was when I heard about it. I was like, okay, it's going to follow the events of season 1 and season 2 of this, sci-fi show. But it's not. What we heard in the podcast about this house from the creators was that it was announced last year. And they're like, okay, we're going to build a Chucky house. And so they built a Chucky house following season 1 and season 2 of, the sci-fi show. And they presented it to Chucky. Chucky came down to Orlando, in the fictional world of Universal. Chucky came down to Orlando and was like, I hate this house. And so what Chucky did is he took over the house, killed the creators, and is killing the staff of the house. So basically what we're hearing from this house is this is Chucky killing Universal workers. That's what this is. I was like, this is not anything what I thought it was. This is Chucky killing people with Universal staff clothes on. Like, what? So I'm very actually excited for this house now. Yeah. Like, obviously this is going to be the campy, this is going to be the funny house. It's Chucky. But I'm very excited for that. I don't know. It really changed my whole perspective on what it was going to be.
Yeah. No, after that podcast, I was like, what is happening? Like, what are we about to walk into? Because we were just all on that page of, oh, it's just like the TV series.
Yeah.
And I was kind of underwhelmed about it, but now I'm pretty excited. It's a little more anticipated than I thought it would end up being.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this house now. And this is honestly one of my favorite art from this announcement drop. This Chucky art is just really cool to me. I don't know why. I just think it's such a cool little cover photo, right? But it completely changed my mind on what this house was. So
the first person that said they're going for The Last of Us went last year and this year, but then someone else said they're only going for Last of Us and this is their first year.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna get hooked as soon as you walk in.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're gonna go for Last of Us and then stay for the rest of the houses. Like, and the food and the scare zones. You're gonna stay and realize how great HHN is. Like, one thing any HHN fan can agree on, even if we don't agree on what houses are good, if we don't agree on what, scare zones are good, what years are good, we agree that HHN is a massive event that we all love to go to. So you're gonna go to this and you're gonna have a complete, spiritual awakening. And yeah, I'm very excited to see or to hear about maybe in a future live stream what you thought about everything and how you feel about HHN now. But
and then we have Chucky's my most anticipated IP house. I hope it's an innovative game changer. I'm liking the fourth wall aspect.
Yeah, that's what I was so confounded by. I was so what? This is actually really cool concept. Is that fourth wall breaking? I know he did it in the show. He had his whole little interview. If you watch the sci-fi show, he had his interview where he stabbed that wrestler or whatever. And then he had kill counts in the show. But no, that's something I'm very excited for now. But moving along to one of my most anticipated houses. Actually, both of these here. I won't get into it because we'll have a video talking about it. But Universal Monsters Unmasked. Universal Monsters never misses for me. Every time we've gone and had Universal Monster houses, they've been fantastic. They've been the best, one of the best houses of those years. So let's dive into this one
While you're
because
reading
it's
that,
so
I'm gonna
cool.
go refill my cup.
Okay, go have fun. So we're going to talk face to face on this one, just me and you. Universal Monsters Unmasked. 4 Universal Monsters, 1 new nightmare. Descend into the Paris catacombs, where you and your squad will face a new horde of monsters. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man. Like, okay. I love the classic monsters. I have all the classic monster movies on Blu-ray in my physical media collection of horror. Those are such iconic films to me. They cement Halloween, like Dracula, Frankenstein, the Monster Mash, like all that kind of stuff cements Halloween for me. But these other monsters, right? These other monsters that Universal created are the underappreciated ones, right? Like, these are the ones you don't think about when you think of Universal Monsters. You're going to think of Creature, you're going to think of Bride, you're going to think of Frank, Wolfman, Drac, right? That's what you're going to think of, Mummy. But when you get to these ones, these are the underutilized monsters, all in one house together. And from what we heard on the Discover Universal podcast, it sounds like a great concept of a house. Like, wasn't it they're like on the run into Paris where Invisible Man is? And I don't remember who else is already there.
2 of them are already in Paris, and 2 of them are like on the run, and they kind of like meet up in the middle.
Yeah, and so this is just a fantastic house, and I'm glad it's not called Universal Monsters in Paris. I'm glad it actually has a cool name. Like, it's unmasked, meaning like all these characters here basically have a mask they put on outside of their creature aspect. And I think that's fantastic. I think this is probably going to be one of the best houses of the year, in my opinion. It looks like it's going to be great. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes. I know I just joined the conversation late, but I am very excited. They've been so pleasantly surprising, all the Universal Monster houses, so I can't ignore it. I forget the word for it. Underestimate it. Can't underestimate that one.
Okay. So next one we will skip for now. We'll get into it later. You saw it there, but we'll get into it later because it's going to lead into our scare zones. But we're going to go straight to Dueling Dragons. We'll get back to that other one, I know. But we're going to get to Dueling Dragons, Choose Thy Fate. This is the one that was that Islands of Adventure roller coaster. Yes, that's the same thing. It's a haunted house now. Dueling Dragons, Choose Thy Fate. No matter who you choose, you lose. 2 warlocks of great power were turned into dragons after trying to take Merlin's spellbook. Now you and your friends are caught in their epic battle. You must choose a path and a victor. So, how are we feeling about this? From what we hear about this house, and I mentioned this in the video we just put out, was that this is kind of a, kind of like Icons Captured or Monsters of last year, where you had a different ending each time, where you have like 4 different endings I'm hearing for this one. In that Discover Universal podcast, they mentioned that. I never rode the Dueling Dragons ride, so I don't know anything about it. But it seems like a great concept. I feel like dragons in a house in general are going to be a great concept. Because I've always, like I mentioned in a previous live stream, I want a Witcher house, like from the Netflix series or the games or whatever. But Dueling Dragons does seem like a fun house for me. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be pretty exciting. Just like you, though, like, I wasn't a Universal kid, so I never got to experience it while it was there. But it just, I don't know, it seems like a really interesting concept, and the whole, like, choosing your path thing seems interesting. And I've been enjoying the, like, alternate endings to houses the past couple times they've done it, and I'm really excited to see that. Yeah,
no, I'm extremely excited for all of these houses. Honestly, there's no house this year I'm not, like, very excited for.
Yeah.
But we're going to get into one that I'm actually pretty excited for. I don't know who shares my excitedness of that one. But we're going to get into Yeti Campground Kills. And I'll tell you why I'm so excited about it after I read this. Yeti or not, here they come. You and your friends are about to venture into a 1950s campground overrun by huge menacing Yetis who rip apart anyone who gets in their way. You must flee to the Ranger Tower to escape. Okay. So this is why I'm so excited about this one. Yeti is just a great concept for a house, like just having these big giant monsters. But one reason I'm so excited for this house is because on all the spec maps, this house, or the symbol for this house before it was, announced, was set to be in a soundstage. And with a soundstage, obviously you have more room, there's more they can do with it. And this is set on a campground. This isn't in a building. Like, this isn't a campground. You're outside. Like, do you remember when you were outside in, let's say, Fiesta de Chupacabra, the facade? You were outside. Like, Hill House, you were outside. Those, like, atmospheric settings, that's this whole house. Like, you're going to be outside the entire time until you get into this ranger tower. There's so much they could do, right? They could build this forest setting. There's trees. And, the ground you walk on could be dirt and grass. And they could be pumping, like, essential oils of, like, certain smells throughout. I don't know if they're doing all this. But they could be pumping all these certain smells of woods and yetis or whatever throughout. They could make a really cool projection of the moon, like, in the house. There's so much they can do in this that just makes this such an anticipated house for me. And the fact that you have a mission, right? You have a mission in this one. You're trying to escape these yetis in the house. Like, you're not just going in there to die, right? You actually have a mission. You want to get out alive of this one. Like, you're going to this ranger station, this ranger tower. And I feel like they can do so much. After witnessing, like, Dead Man's Pier. That's what it was? Yeah, Dead Man's Pier, right?
What?
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dead Man's Pier. There's so much they can do with, like, building, like, things in the distance that you see in some places, and then you actually get to the place where it is, and it's massive. I feel like they can do this with this ranger tower. Like, you could be walking through underbrush and see the ranger tower up high, and then when you get to it, it's this big, massive thing. I feel like they could do so much here, and I'm actually very excited for this. I don't know if anyone shares my opinion on this, because it is a Yeti house. Like, they've done this before, but I don't know. This seems like a great house to me. Anything you want to say about that?
I don't think I'm quite as hype as you are for Yeti, but I think it's going to be a good one. I'm excited to experience it, considering my first year I did miss the Yeti house.
Yeah, tear on the Yukon.
Yeah.
Yukon. Yeah.
Didn't quite understand how Horror Nights worked at that point.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for this. Are you guys excited for Yetis, or am I crazy? Am I crazy for being excited for Yetis?
They're, like, carrying on their own conversation about all the other houses, and you're just like, Yeti.
Yeti's great.
Yeti.
Yeti's great. I love Yeti.
228 said Yeti. I hope Yeti has slaughter cinema type of humor.
Yes.
Which is what the original 29 originated.
I'm hoping it is a campy camp house. Like, it's a campy house about a camp.
Yeah.
Like.
Fingers crossed.
I don't know. Anything else you want to say about it before I move on?
I think you summed it up real great.
This could be a great house, or this could be very horrible. But I'm hoping this is great, because I want to walk away being like, I was right about Yeti. Yeti's great.
I think it will be, considering, like, the way they talked about it in the podcast, and, like, their, like, kind of giggly attitude towards it. Seemed like this is going to be a really fun house.
I'm excited. But on to our next one, which is another one I'm very excited for. Is The Darkest Deal. Fame is fleeting, fear is forever. Blues musician Pine Straw Spruce will have to face the music after mating with the collector and trading his soul for musical glory. You and your squad learn the terrible price of fame. You may not understand why I'm excited for this, because it seems like just a classic house. It's got the devil, like all this other stuff. But I feel like, again, I'm a big guy that likes the set. Like, I love the set, the imagery, especially with, like, Dead Man's Pier last year. It showed how big Horror Nights can do things. I feel like they can build these, like, in this little picture here, there's crossroads, right? I want to be there. I want to be on those crossroads when he's making that deal. From the podcast that we listened to about this house from Universal, they said you're basically one of his, background, part of his band is what your role is in the house. So you're seeing him do all this stuff. You're seeing, like, him make the deal with the devil. You're seeing him play in a bar and the devil's sitting there. And you don't notice the devil till you walk by and their eyes are white or whatever you said. Like, this could be awesome.
Like, you didn't really know what was happening, but you're starting to see it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and then, obviously, they mentioned something about going to hell eventually, but this could be a really cool house. Like,
yeah.
I liked the Kitty Cat Club, right? The Kitty Cat Club in Case Files. Like, the blues. I don't know if it was blues. Was it blues?
It was kind of a bluesy vibe.
It's like a bluesy jazz kind of vibe in there.
Jazz, yeah.
So I do like when they use music, and that's one thing I loved about The Weeknd, that they really used his music in, like, a good way. I feel like they could do some really cool stuff. I'm hoping maybe, like, I'd like to see, like, maybe a live singer in this house. Like, not like...
I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, not like singing over
me.
a track. More like Case Files, where it was a live singer. Or like Ghostbusters, where you had the person with the microphone, the receptionist, actually improving lines. I would love to see a live singer actually in this house, in whatever bar setting or whatever club setting it is going to be in. But I think this has potential to be a really good house. From what I've seen of a lot of people's hype list of this house, it's really low, and I'm like, you're probably underestimating it, or maybe I'm overestimating it, but...
I don't know, this one is definitely giving me the vibes that it will be the most underestimated one that people end up liking way more. Like, there's some on here that I could see, like, underestimating, and it stays about the same on, like, your hype list, but this one I see being, like, oh, that's not really that cool, but then you do it, and you're like, that's really cool.
Yeah, like, after listening to the podcast, this story for this one feels, like, so flushed out. It feels very, like, constructed. It feels like there's a lot of backing behind it. And this seems like a house, like, if you're going to HHN to get scared, why not get scared of the devil? Like, you're going to go in this house, not know the devil's sitting right next to you, and you're going to walk by and notice that's the devil when you're walking by. I feel like this can scare a lot of people if you're actually going to HHN to be scared. Like, this has the potential to be fantastic. That's just me.
Yeah.
But,
another thing that I think is really, really cool with you talking about not knowing who the devil is, I don't know if you're wanting me to talk about this yet.
Don't yet. I know what you're about to say.
Well, we'll save it if he'll
We'll save
remind
it
me.
after we talk about this house after Blood Moon.
Because I forget things, so you have to remind me.
I'll remind you, but we'll talk about it in a second. But let's move on to Blood Moon Dark Offerings. This is going to be that Salem witch trial house kind of vibe that we were speculating, right? In a colonial-era village, moon worshippers witness a blood moon at their fall festival. They take it as a sign to hunt down any non-followers, including you and your Scream Squad. Scream Squad's back. Welcome back, Scream Squad. We didn't miss you, but you're back. I don't know how I'm feeling about this. I know you're very excited for it because you love the witch houses.
I do.
I just don't have enough backing behind of what this is.
Yeah.
Like, basically, the podcast basically says the same thing of what this says, the description. So, I don't know really what's going on in this house. Like, obviously, it's a cult that sacrifices during the blood moon. And I feel like, again, the set could be really cool. If it's colonial era, you're going to get, like, Salem kind of buildings, like Salem, Massachusetts kind of buildings. Maybe some, like, dancing around the fire kind of stuff. Like, the set could be really great. The lighting could be great with a blood moon. Like, it could be really red in there, where it could trick your eyes a lot. I just want to know more about it. Like, I'm not saying I'm not anticipated for it. I just want to know more about it, right? And obviously, we won't know until September 1st, right? We won't know what it is. So I kind of like that aspect of not knowing a lot about it and going into it blind, right? Because we don't know what's going on. We just know the blood sacrificial stuff going on. So I'm very excited to go through this one blind and not know what's going on.
I'm just excited about it because I'm really excited to see the more, like, I don't want to say human approach to the witches, but a more, like, less, like, gags type of approach to witches, because we've had, like, the speakeasy, like, Spirits of the Coven, and that wasn't really, like, I keep wanting to say human, but, like, these are just, like, plain Jane witches.
Maybe.
From what I'm understanding.
It could be not, though.
But like you said, like, the whole, like, out in the woods, dancing around the fire, like, that's the vibe I'm hoping for, like, more.
I'm hoping for, like, here's how I'll say it. I want Fear Street.
Honestly, that's what I was picturing in my head,
Fear Street, was it 16 something, whatever it was?
Yeah.
Give me that in a house. If this is like that, I'll like the house.
But yeah, that's kind of, like, the vibe I'm hoping for, is, like, that, like, more realistic.
Yeah. But, okay. We waited long enough for this one. We'll talk about it. Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. You're going to be hearing this name a lot today. Dr. Oddfellow. Because Dr. Oddfellow is our icon. Dr. Oddfellow is everything this year. He's in every scare zone. He's in everything. He's going to be your opening ceremony. He's got his own house. And you probably heard his name before if you know anything about Jack. But let's dive into this. Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. Your soul is a price he's willing to pay. You won't be able to resist going inside Dr. Oddfellow's menacing menagerie of twisted oddities. But the price for you and your friends is steep, the cost of your souls to feed his immortal power. Alright, so here's what I'll say. Spoiler for our next video, this is my most anticipated house. I know I was talking in the chat while we were on that starting screen. I know this is some of your guys' favorite or most anticipated this year. This is mine. like I said, Jack is my favorite. So he worked for Dr. Oddfellow in his lore. Dr. Oddfellow is the one that killed him. And this is that moment. We listened to the podcast to see exactly what this house was. This is the moment. This is the moment where Jack is working for Oddfellow at his Carnival of Thrills. This is where he's working for him. And this is where Jack, confesses that he killed people. He killed kids. And Dr. Oddfellow, in retaliation, kills him. But they're going to expand past that. They're going to talk exactly how Jack got his immortal power from Dr. Oddfellow. I guess I can tell you. If you watched or listened to the podcast, it will tell you that Jack scratched Dr. Oddfellow's face whenever Oddfellow was killing him, and his blood got mixed in with Jack's blood, and that's how Jack was immortalized. They did mention in the podcast, Jack's in the house. Not exactly what we're probably thinking he's in the house. More like, you will see what happened. You will see the kill of Jack in the house. That is coming. And you will see little other stuff of Jack in the house as well, like his silhouette, his laugh, things like that in the house. But obviously this is about Dr. Oddfellow. This is about how Dr. Oddfellow came to power during this time, during the 1930s, when he hosted this carnival, right? But yeah, this is my most anticipated house just because I love the icon so much. Oddfellow has the potential to be a great one, just based on everything we listened to in the podcast and the fact that everything is actually connected to him this year, more so than it was with the Pumpkin Lord that they tried to do last year. Anything you want to say? I know I'm talking too much about this.
No, you're good. Because what I have to say is probably going to wait till we go through the scare zones.
Okay. But Dr. Oddfellow, one thing you might want to know about Dr. Oddfellow that they do mention in this podcast is he has the power to shapeshift into other things. And this is what you wanted to talk about back with this house here.
Yes.
You want to tell him?
Well, I mean, it depends. Don't mind me forgetting how to speak English there. No, I was just going to say that in the podcast they also mentioned that when Jack scratches Dr. Oddfellow in the face, he gets a scar over his eye, and that's how, if you see him around in all of the different zones or other places he may be, he would have that mark on his face, but he shapeshifts into other creatures. So there's like a part of me that's like, what if he is like the collector in that house?
Yeah, so she thinks, or it's just a theory that she has, that Oddfellow could be the collector in this house, is actually the devil in this house. Very possible. I mean, I want to put it past HHN to do something like that.
Only because in the podcast they did say that you'll probably spot him in other scare zones.
Yes.
But I don't know how far that extends as into if he'll be in any of the houses.
But, yeah, Jack's supposed to be there. We listened to the Discover Universal podcast. Like I said, I recommend listening to that before this year because there's a whole lot of lore they built up for this year. And yes, they do mention Jack being inside of this house. You're going to see the moment where Oddfellow kills him and stuffs him into the box that later gets shipped to Universal. And that's how Jack was unleashed in HHN 10. But yeah, well, that's going to be a fantastic house. I already know. It's going to be amazing. This year has so much going for it. This just feels like, I mentioned this to someone, I don't know who I mentioned this to, but that this year feels like the old icon years. Like for example, what I was talking about earlier, Bloody Mary, how she connected to everything. This is what it feels like. Like, I know they said Pumpkin Lord did last year. He didn't. But this is what this feels like. A brand new icon with some resemblance that we've heard before. We've heard Dr. Oddfellow's name since HHN 10. It's a huge part of Jack's, lore. In 17, he killed Oddfellow, or quote-unquote killed Oddfellow. Obviously, he's not dead because here he is for this year. But there's a lot of lore already cemented with Oddfellow, but they're just building onto that, creating this massive icon. So I'm very excited for everything Oddfellow this year. But we're going to move on. That is all the houses this year that we have covered. That's everything coming to Orlando. Like I said, I don't know Hollywood. Orlando, that is what's coming. Let's get into the scare zones. Some fun scare zones this year. We're going to have 5 like usual. But they're all going to connect to the icon. They're all going to connect to Dr. Oddfellow, right? So like I said, it helps if you listen to the podcast to understand why he's in these zones. But they say a little bit in these descriptions. So we'll dive straight into the one you're going to walk into, going into the park. During speculation season, a lot of us didn't think this was going to be a scare zone. We had the whole horde thing going on. We thought maybe with Minion Land, they wouldn't be doing a scare zone over here. Just seems more like they're going to be pushed forward a little bit towards the gate and the arch. And we're still getting a scare zone. And that's going to be Dr. Oddfellow's collection of horror. This is that carnival-esque setting of all of his oddities. Dr. Oddfellow will lure you into Halloween Horror Nights with a promise of immortality. As he lifts the veil on all the horrors to come, you'll soon realize you may not even survive the night. This seems like it's going to be a great scare zone because this is obviously where your opening ceremony is going to branch out into. And obviously he's going to be the host of that ceremony. I don't know. I feel like it has potential to be good unless they do the Pumpkin Lord treatment and stick him in one place and you don't do anything with him. But I'm hoping they're not doing that. Maybe they've learned and are actually going to cement him throughout the zone, have him interact with you, things like that. Because he's supposed to be welcoming you into the park. He's supposed to be promising you this immortality. You know, I feel like he needs to be interacting and not just be, stationary like Pumpkin Lord was. Anything you want to say about this one? No? What are they saying? We haven't talked to them a little bit.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Going back to what we were talking about, someone said so Jack's supposed to be there in the house.
Yes. That. Yeah.
Dr. Oddfellow's character design is giving me, how do you pronounce Dr. Facilier or Facilier?
Oh, yeah,
Dr. Facilier.
Yeah, everyone seems to be saying that.
It's a general consensus, and it is not wrong.
And if you, like I said, if you listen to the podcast, he sounds just like him too. They reveal his voice in one of the episodes. It sounds just like him.
And then pretty much how you were just ranting about the Pumpkin Lord, everybody else was too, talking about he was kind of boring. They didn't do enough with him. He looked cool, but he was just boring at the front mostly. Yes. And then Horror Homie says that they like the Pumpkin Lord. I did too.
Yes, I love the Pumpkin Lord. Like, Pumpkin Lord was great. Him. I just feel like they could have utilized him more. Like, for example, with the promo, right? With the promo for the event. It was like this whole squad, the Scream squad of people going throughout, Universal through Horror Nights. And they were attacked by the various houses. Pumpkin Lord was never in that promo. When you have an icon, they're always in the promo. Jack's been in promos. Chance had her own promo. Usher, caretaker, director, storyteller. Lady Luck's dumb, but had a promo. I'm
gonna fight you right now.
But Pumpkin Lord was not used in their marketing. He was just thrown on a t-shirt, and then they were like, yes, this is your icon. He's in one scare zone. His roots are going to grow through everything. He's running this year, but he's going to stay stationary in this place. Like, sure, he can't leave his pumpkin. Okay. But you didn't market him. Like, he's your icon. He should have been, like, maybe portrayed on the medallion. He should have been on more merch. He should have been in the big promo that they put on TV. He wasn't. And, like, they really underutilized him. And I'm glad they're changing direction this year. Like, maybe putting Oddfellow in the promo. Everything's Oddfellow this year. He's going to be in all the zones. He's not stationary. Like, I don't know. They feel like they could have done more of Pumpkin Lord. But Pumpkin Lord was great. Like, he was, like, a fantastic character. Like, his makeup. The fact that, honestly, he became an icon because we all love the Wicked Growth so much. No, he's fantastic. I just feel like they could have used him way better. So hopefully he gets his redemption year later down the road. Maybe he can actually hop out of the pumpkin one year.
Yeah.
And have, be the hand that guides you through Horror Nights and stuff like that. But, yeah. Anyway, is that all they were saying?
Yep, that's been it. And then, just the Horror Homie saying Lady Luck was the best one.
Everyone has their own opinions. No, you're not wrong. Everyone can love their own icons.
And then we have, it says, this year seems like they're really connecting everything way better. And then someone said he really needs his redemption arc, which I agree. Poor little Pumpkin Lord.
For example, one thing that was big about the Wicked Growth House, and I keep talking about Pumpkin Lord when I should be talking about these announcements, but one thing that got big off the Wicked Growth House that wasn't just Pumpkin Lord was Lil Boo. Like, the whole concept of Lil Boo, people were creating stories of how he was trapped in this pumpkin realm, how he was trying to find, like, safety.
He had his own Twitter account.
Yeah, he had his own Twitter account. My stream froze for a second. Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good,
okay.
I think. It just froze for a second because my computer had a heart attack. But, He had his own, like, stuff. Like, but, like, you could have used him in the marketing for the Pumpkin Lord. It could have been, like, this whole thing where Lobu's trying to escape the Pumpkin Lord. The Pumpkin Lord's this massive icon coming for Halloween Horror Nights, and Lobu's you're one that's guiding you through it, trying to get you through the scare zone.
Escape.
Like, you could have had characters, little short characters as Lobu,
Yeah.
Like, they could have easily done that. Hopefully, maybe they take notes from what happened last year, how people felt about the Pumpkin Lord and his underutilization, and maybe give him a redemption arc later. That's something I'd like to see.
Yeah,
but
in that house, oh my gosh, I was always so happy going through that house and seeing him at the end. He had like the best little interactions. And he was so cool. And then
and he didn't have his own house last year.
Yeah.
He didn't have his own house. Like, you could have done a Wicked Grove 2 or named it something, something else. But he didn't have anything else. He was just at the front gates in his pumpkin. That was it.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to this year with an icon that seems actually very fleshed out. We did Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horror. Then we get into Hollywood. Yes, Hollywood. And that is going to be Dark Zodiac. That I was right about. And I'm going to continue to say that for as long as this event runs. And all my videos was like, this is going to be Dark Zodiac. This is going to be Dark Zodiac. And look at it here. It's Dark Zodiac. Okay. So, like I said, this is all connected to Dr. Oddfellow. This is connected to the icon. Dr. Oddfellow has entered a dark dimension to harness the power of the Zodiac and live forever. He twists the signs into malevolent beings who forfeit your doom. As the stars rises, yours falls. So a big thing, if you don't listen to the podcast of what's going on with Oddfellow, is that he brings his immortality from the power of the Zodiac, right? He gets his power from these Zodiac signs, the stars. That's how he has it. Like, I believe he has a Zodiacs carved into him or something they mentioned.
They mentioned something like that.
Like, carved on his back or something. And he mentions that, like, there's a big thing is he captures these, like, with all these scare zones, he captures these, like, atmospheres and twists them, right? So this is basically an era of his life where he entered a dark dimension to harness the Zodiac and, become immortal. So that's what this zone is. It's going to be obviously your monsters portraying your astrological signs. And then Dr. Oddfellow is going to be in there somewhere. It seems like a great zone. It was a zone in Singapore without obviously all the Dr. Oddfellow elements. It was just its own zone in Singapore for their HHN. And it looks really cool from what I've seen. But yeah, that's going to be your Hollywood scare zone this year. And then you're going to get into Central Park, where we are all like, what is going on in Central Park? All we're hearing is jungle. Okay, we're getting Indiana Jones in Central Park. No, obviously it's another scare zone connected to Dr. Oddfellow, and that is Jungle of Doom Expedition Horror. And it is in the 1920s. Dr. Oddfellow ventured deep into the darkest jungle, performing horrific experiments on nature. Now his monstrous creations are running amok and are coming after you. Anything you want to say about this one? I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, you're all good. You're just reading the stuff and nailing it, so...
Okay, well, obviously, with all the scare zones covering eras in his life as he grew to power, that's basically they're telling the story of Oddfellow with this year. So I believe this is going to be your first segment of what Oddfellow, when he became into wanting his power, wanting his immortality, and that was in the 1920s. Nothing really else to say about that. It's going to be like these monsters, probably animal monsters, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I really don't know what to expect. I'm assuming some kind of, like, mutated animals, but...
But again, it follows Dr. Oddfellow, so Dr. Oddfellow may be in the zone. I know he shapeshifts, so he could be something else, but he is going to be in the zone. They did mention that in the podcast. Like you were saying, how he shapeshifts.
They just said... I do remember them mentioning that this is
Yeah, this is pre-Jack.
the house.
Yeah, this is pre-Jack, so he doesn't have the scratch on his face here.
So he would look a little different in this zone.
Yeah. After the 1930s, he will have his scratch. Like in Zodiac, he'll probably have his scratch, and obviously he's going to have his scratch in Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horror, because that's modern day. That's him welcoming us into the park. But here in the 20s, he won't have his... Sorry, there's so much thunder happening outside. In the 1920s, he won't have his mark, so he might be a little harder to find, but who knows. So the next one we're going to get into is the one everyone and their mother is talking about, and that is Vamp 69, Summer of Blood in New York. At a 60s music fest in a small New York town, you'll jam to popular bands with fellow concert goers until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes vicious vampires on the audience. They're out for your blood. So again, this is going to be post Jack Scratch. I'll say that, post Jack Scratch. So if you look for Dr. Oddfellow in this zone, he's going to have the scratch on his face. And this is the first time Vamp is really being connected to an icon. That thunder scare you?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
This is the first time it's going to be connected to an icon, the Vamp zone. And there's a lot of lore behind this one. If you listen to the podcast, there's a lot of lore behind the Vamp stuff. Like, a lot. I can't even explain it all. Like, you just need to listen to that. It's the Haunted Tales part of the podcast. There's a lot of lore with the Vamps. But this seems like it's going to be a fantastic zone from what we've seen of construction. We know there's, like, that pretty stage that's constructed.
Yes.
Now there's, like, merch booths, you know, with, you know, probably bodies in them and stuff like that. So I'm very excited. I know the music's going to be great in the zone. Lighting's probably going to be cool. Costuming.
Yeah, sorry, I was watching it. It's lightning outside, so I know it's about to do that again. The whole house is shaking. It's great.
Creating the ambience. It's Horror Nights.
Yeah, Horror Nights.
Horror Nights is telling us that we're talking about them.
You said the lighting's gonna be great, and it lightninged out the window.
Wow,
so.
I'm Thor, guys. I'm Thor. Oh wait, that's Disney. Can't talk about that. Next one is Shipyard 32 Horrors Unhinged in San Francisco. This is going to be again post Jack Scratch. Enter a 1940s San Francisco shipping yard full of mysterious crates and cages bearing Dr. Oddfellow's symbol, but where his nightmarish oddities have now escaped, spreading fear and chaos in their wake. Don't rain when I go. I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Horror Nights. It's gonna rain, depending on when you go. If you go opening night, good luck. Yeah. So this one's going to be Siren-y or whatever.
I really don't know what's gonna be in there. I know that Sirens has been talked about as like an idea, and that's what it was being speculated as before it was announced. But I don't know if it's gonna be more than just sirens, because that's kind of what I'm.
Maybe like fish monsters. Maybe.
Because it's his oddities, like different types, I would assume. So maybe like a siren and then like a few other different monsters.
Yeah, it's kind of like Hellblack Horror in Scare Zone. No, but yeah. Again, this is post Jack Scratch, so if you want to find Dr. Oddfellow in the zone, if he is shapeshifted, he's gonna have a scratch on his face. But like I said, these are your 5 scare zones. Like I said, this is a great lineup for this year, all connecting to one central icon. You know, so I don't know. Very interested to see what they do with it. But we're gonna get to Amber's favorite part.
Woo.
And that is going to be the show. The one show, Vamp show isn't coming, that was speculated. It's going to be the smaller, little intimate thing on the New York stage. But we have Nightmare Fuel back again for the 3rd time. Nightmare Fuel Revenge Dream. The show that sparked your darkest dreams has reignited. Let your nightmares burn out of control as the pyro and aerial performers fire you up to the beat of metal and electronica. So yeah, Nightmare Fuel's back. I'm excited for it. I like Nightmare Fuel a lot. I know not everyone shares the same, you know, thing about that, like same excitement about Nightmare Fuel. But I love Nightmare Fuel. You love Nightmare. You live by Nightmare Fuel.
Yes, I love that show.
Quite literally, we go into Nightmare Fuel and she starts crying.
No, yeah.
Don't lie.
I do. Yeah, but that's just because 31 that year was the year 31, right? Was it first year or was it 30?
30 was the first year of Nightmare Fuel.
30, because that was...
It's 32 this year.
Yeah, 30. Sorry, wow, I'm dumb again. But the first year that they did Nightmare Fuel was the year that I was going, like, every night to Horror Nights by myself, and I would just go in that show. And
she went alone. I'm joking.
Oh, no.
Okay.
But I would spend all my time at that show, so I became very attached to it. It was very fun.
Yeah, no. I like Nightmare Fuel. Obviously replaced Academy of Villains, that used to be a thing, and then replaced Bill and Ted, you know, all that stuff. I like it. I don't see why they shouldn't come back every year. It's fun. It's a great way to, you know, get out of the crowded... I mean, you're going to a crowded theater or stage or whatever. But it's a good way to get out of... Yeah, you can sit down. There's your perk. Even if you don't like the show, you can sit down.
You don't get to cool off.
No, because it's fire. And there's probably more fire this year.
I know. I was like, if they did not put it in the description, but if they would have, I would have been a little concerned.
I guarantee you there's more fire.
But how are they going to add more fire? Because last year you could be in the very back and feel the heat.
There's more fire, I guarantee you. More fire. Yeah, yeah, Nightmare Fuel's back. That's all I can really say about it.
Yeah.
We know what it is. We've had it 2 years now, and it seems like it's going to be the new Bill and Ted, dare I say, coming back every year for a while. But keep moving to this here, the dining and the shopping. You guys are excited for this, right? This is why you come to Horror Nights? You don't care about the houses or the scare zones. You guys told me that earlier. So you go for the food and the merch, right?
But the merch.
Yeah, we'll get into
The
it.
merch.
But food, blah, blah, blah. Food's coming, food, pizza, fries, stuff like that. Themed stuff. I'm sure they're going to have a Stranger Things themed thing. I heard they're going to have, like, pineapple pizza fries and a surferboard pizza thing or a Hellfire Club booth or something like that. I'm going to eat all of it and probably hate my stomach because every time I eat theme park food, I am in the bathroom for quite a while.
It's any of the pizza stuff, so.
Yeah, that is true. Those pizza skulls.
Oh my gosh, it is absolutely flooding right now.
It is flooding. Then we're going to get to the merch. The merch looks dope. You like the merch. Talk about the merch.
I love the merch. I don't know, I just really like the vibe. It's very, like, carnival-y, oddity-y.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it,
It gives
because
me-
it's not got, like, a specific...
Yeah, it gives me like
aesthetic to
carnival and it also gives me like biker gang.
Yeah. But I like it.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like it.
The little arches and the crystal ball, I'm obsessed.
No, I like it. I think it's cool. Obviously, I'm going to buy a crap ton of it and whatever. If they have an Oddfellow shirt, I'm buying the crap out of that too. But, yeah, no, I'm excited to see the merch once it comes out. Obviously, we know the merch that's already out with The Last of Us and Stranger Things. And Rex just one that just came out. But this one looks really cool. But I hope we get more cool stuff too. But we're just briefly going to talk about that. Then we're going to get into this, and that is the Cabana Bay experience. I do recommend going to a hotel, a Universal hotel.
I'm sorry, it's all Lady Luck comments for me.
What about Lady Luck?
We're getting Lady Luck redemption here. Just said, the horror homie said Lady Luck HHN 33, let's hope, and then just Lady Luck, Lady Luck. Me.
So, all right. You want Lady Luck? Go to Universal. UniversalCareers.com. Apply for the creative team, right? No, hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Apply for the creative team and tell them you want Lady Luck back as soon as you get hired. Then we get Lady Luck back. It seems
Exactly.
like the best of both worlds, right?
You should do that for me.
Like, I like how you looked at me like I was actually insulting him, but no.
I was like, what is this?
Because, like, the thing with, we want a million things, right? Like, I want a million Jack years. I want Bloody Mary back. I know that's never going to happen, but I want Bloody Mary back. But they're not going to give it to us.
I'm gonna let you talk about this, because I've been drinking too much water.
All right. So next thing we're going to into is the Lady Luck experience, guys. See? No, I'm joking. It's not a Lady Luck experience. But we're going to talk about the Cabana Bay experience. Like I said before, I recommend staying in a Universal Resort for HHN because you get like access to like things that the people that don't stay in the Universal Resorts get. And for example, one is the Cabana Bay experience they've been doing for a while now. This one this year is going to be Chucky's Twisted Playground. You can run, but you can't hide. Keep the screams going at Universal's Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Pose for photos at Chucky's Twisted Playground, a photo illusion experience based on the USA and Sci-Fi TV series, features 5 uniquely scary photo opportunities. Chucky's Twisted Playground is exclusive to guests of any Universal Resort hotel. Hotel room keycard is required for entry. Then another cool thing about staying at the resorts, you get the bars, these spooky themed bars, and that is going to be the Spooky Swizzle Lounge at Cabana Bay, the Spooky Sunset Lounge at Universal's Endless Summer Resort Dockside Inn and Suites, and then the tri-specialty Halloween-themed cocktails at all 8 Universal Orlando Resort hotels. Obviously, if you're not 21, that doesn't apply to you, I guess. But if you know anything about HHN and you are over 21, you know they make some good drinks most of the time. So it's something to experience if you do stay at these, resorts. I recommend it. Cabana Bay is my favorite. We will be there this year. Like I'm sure some of you will be if you are attending, going to a Universal Resort, because that's usually the one that's like the HHN spot. But then we're gonna get into the ones the first time they're actually having a experience for everyone, right? It's usually just a Cabana Bay experience, and then you can attend it if you are a Universal Resort. You're staying at a resort. But for this year, they're doing the Universal Monsters Gallery of Legends. And it says, and be sure to set aside time to visit the other 6 Universal Orlando hotels as you go on a photo hunt to find different Universal Monster photo opportunities waiting for you in the hotel lobbies. So it seems like every resort is going to be getting some kind of experience. I don't know if all the Gallery of Legends stuff is going to be the same for every hotel or if they're going to vary on the monsters. But yeah, no, that's something that's really cool that's coming to the event. I'm excited for that. I went to... I don't think I've ever been to a Cabana Bay experience myself. I just watched them on YouTube. But welcome back.
Hi.
But yeah, that's something you definitely would want to experience if you are staying at the resorts. The end. No, I'm just
The end. Goodbye.
what else? Okay, so not everything obviously is announced on the actual page. We have stuff that other people talked about. And that is the okay, we'll go away from this now. But hello, welcome back.
Ah, we're big again.
We're big again. Anyway, what was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. So the stuff going on at Lombard's, the bar that was themed for Conjure the Dark last year. If you went, if you don't know what that is, maybe if you've been following the construction videos, that big arch in San Francisco leading into all those trusses and then another arch in the back was where a kind of like spooky bar was hidden last year that not many people knew about. This year it seems like it's going to be themed to Peacock's horror, like the Peacock streaming service. They don't have the actual thing on their website, but I believe Orlando Informer or something reported it. And that is that it's going to be the Peacock horror bar.
Yeah.
With like, I don't know what it's going to contain because they didn't really say specific things, but I'm thinking maybe it's going to have like the monsters or like killers from those Peacock films, like maybe Jigsaw, Michael Myers, Chucky.
Forget who was all on that
Black
Peacock
Phone.
Halloween photo, but
Yeah, I think the Grabber, Billy from Jigsaw, Michael Myers from Halloween, and I think Chucky's on there on that promo photo they use a lot. So maybe we're getting all of them, and it's like a big photo opportunity place, and then you can drink there. Obviously, it's a bar. I'm excited to see what it is because we actually went to Lombard's like a bunch last year and just like sat sometimes,
it's
not
a
even a
little
drink.
hiding spot.
Sometimes we would grab food and walk back there and hang out. But that's just something that's coming this year, so I'm excited to see what that is, to see these other maybe technically IPs coming to the event if that's what's happening, like Jigsaw with the new film coming out and stuff. That we might have in the bar you can take pictures with or something. I don't know how exactly they're going to do it, but I'm very excited to see the construction progress on it when it keeps getting more constructed.
Just to be able to put all the pieces together, see what might be happening over there.
Yeah. And then the next thing is the tribute store. That's the other thing.
Oh yeah.
So again, that's not on their website, but I believe either Orlando Informer or Thrill Geek or someone reported it. Was that the tribute store is not going to be where Jurassic Park is. I know we were all worried about that, just as far as like space and like crowd control wise. It's going to be moved back to New York where it usually is, and the theme of it is going to be kind of themed to Vamp 69, but it's going to be like a New York comic book shop, I guess, is what it's going to be this year.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to relate any way to Oddfellow, like if it's going to have an Oddfellow room or anything, because I feel like maybe it should. But
We'll probably have hints in there.
yeah, even just
The
hints.
tribute store and its little Easter eggs.
True. But yes, it is going back to New York, so we don't need to worry about the Hollywood situation. But
Thank goodness.
Is that every single announcement?
I think that's everything.
Is that
Houses,
every
zones,
announcement?
shows, the bar, the tribute store, the experiences at the hotels.
Okay. All right, so let's get into question time. I said everything that was announced. What is your favorite thing about this year? Could be a scare zone, could be a house, could be the tribute store, could be a certain food item, could be, eating at Hard Rock and City Walk, and you don't care about HHN. But let me know. I want to know what you're excited about for HGen 32 this year. Let me know what you're excited about. Me personally, I'm excited for all the Oddfellow icon stuff. I'm very excited for any kind of icon stuff, and I'm very excited to see what the medallion is going to look like.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm very interested in this year, is going to be the medallion, if they're going to actually theme it to Oddfellow, or if it's just going to be the basic Horror Nights on the front. I wish they still did the screens, you know, like where they had like actual movies, well, not movies, little short videos playing of an icon or of what's going on that year. But yeah. Let me know what you're excited about. What are you excited about?
First off, I was gonna say, you know, they're rumoring that we might get like short videos for Key Lines back. And
Oh, is that a rumor? I didn't know about
I've been seeing people talking about that, about possibly getting videos for Key Lines.
She just told you guys that's gonna happen.
So maybe this is the year of HHN taking notes of what everybody wants.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe you'll get your screen medallion again.
If we get a screen medallion, I'm sacrificing my soul
To Oddfellow.
to Oddfellow.
We
Oddfellow's
never
gonna
leave.
go top of my list. I'm gonna be like, sorry, Bloody Mary and Jack. They gave me a scream.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So some people are telling us what they're most excited for. Horror Homie
You
said,
didn't answer yours.
oh, Oddfellow.
That's what you're most excited for?
I'm excited for lore, okay? I'm a sucker for lore.
So you're excited
And
for
that's
the
this
lore.
entire year's lore. So I'm
Okay.
really excited about the storytelling that's going to be happening in this event.
Okay.
So
Alright.
that's what I'm excited about. And the fact that, like, there's not one single thing on the house list or the scare zones that makes me like, oh, I could miss that and be okay.
True.
Like, this is the first year in a hot minute that I'm like, obviously I always want to see everything, but, like, if for some reason all of our plans fell through and we could only go one night, like, I would be upset to miss anything.
Yeah, that would never happen though.
No.
We're gonna be at HN a lot
Not
this year, and I'll get into
manifesting
that in a minute. But
Yeah. But as far as everybody else's opinions, we have, of course, Oddfellow, and then Brandon said seeing Vecna in person is going to be amazing, I just can't wait. And then Two Speed said The Last of Us, then Stranger Things, and Oddfellow. And then, how do you pronounce that? I think that's just a username, but I don't want to.
Chemico.
Yeah. Our friend with the 34 at the end of their name.
Yeah.
The Stranger Things, the clock screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going on with Stranger Things.
Or we said lore going to Lady Luck.
You know,
Honestly.
maybe she might be in a house. Like, maybe she's in Oddfellow's house. Or you know,
Her and Oddfellow are just
plot
besties.
twist: Dr. Oddfellow takes off his face and,
And
it's
he's
Lady
Lady
Luck.
Luck.
But yeah, another thing I want to ask, another question is, what do you think the arches are gonna look like? Because I was just talking about the medallion. What do you think they're gonna look like this year? Me specifically, if you were paying attention, the thumbnail of this live stream is what I think it's gonna look like. If they actually go all out.
I don't even know what you made this thumbnail.
Oh. That's
Oh.
HHN 17 on our thumbnail. If they go all out this year and actually build up the arch like that, I'm thinking the circus vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but then again, Oddfellow's lore, now that we've learned more about him through this podcast, isn't just the circus. That's just 10 years of his life.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm very much expecting either they embrace Oddfellow and it's like his face with some things around it as the medallion, or just that little skeleton with a crystal ball from the merch, because that seems to be very prominent on what they're advertising right now.
I hope it's not that. Like, I really don't. Like, if you're gonna have an icon, make your icon on the medallion.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great design. I like the design of the merch.
Yeah.
It's great. But
But
if the whole year is Oddfellow and Oddfellow's not on that
Yeah.
medallion,
there's just that, like, sliver of me that's like, I know that they missed the mark so hard with the Pumpkin Lord that I'm like, are they gonna just forget to put Oddfellow on the medallion? Like,
I hope not.
they need to do something.
the one thing
with
I'm
that.
excited about to see, and we'll get back to the arch in a second, but when they put out the big promo this year, is how we know the year's gonna unfold. Because if Oddfellow's not in that promo, it's Pumpkin Lord. If he's in that promo, we can see him physically. Like, it's not just the drawing we got on his house picture. We actually see him physically. I have hopes he's on the medallion. Because with 30, we've seen Jack. Jack was on the medallion. Same with, like, other years. We've seen icons in their promos. They're on the medallion. We didn't see Pumpkin Lord. It was just a moon.
Yeah, that's true. I'm really hoping they fully embrace Oddfellow, because, like, they have done too well with everything, tying him in now to not do the big commercial with him or put him on the medallion, so.
Yeah. I'm hoping we're getting I love the commercials. I love the HHN commercials. It's one of the first experiences I had to HHN before I went, is I would see the commercials on TV.
Mine was Burger King.
Hers is Burger King. I miss those. I miss the promos we got with like Publix and like Burger King and Taco Bell, Pepsi.
I remember just going through the drive-thru and getting the cup and being like, "Dad, can we please go?" And he'd be like, "No."
Yeah, and have like The Walking Dead on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember there was a big standee during 25. There was a big standee in Publix. And it was Jack holding all the tickets like this. And I was like, dude, do that again. Put Oddfellow in there, holding all the tickets.
More neat little things just to see here and there would be great.
And I want to see billboards of Oddfellow on it. Like,
Yeah.
I know we'll get the billboards probably with Stranger Things.
Oh,
and like
for
Last of
sure.
Us.
Yeah.
But I want a billboard specifically for our icon. I want Oddfellow doing something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But I think the arch could be really cool, or they could miss the mark. What are they saying?
Brandon said that he thinks it'll either be Oddfellow, the skeleton, or because of Stranger Things being so big, they would just do a Stranger Things thing.
Kind of like 29 or 28. Well, 28 was a pumpkin. 28 was a melting pumpkin or rotting pumpkin. 29, the arch was the medallion with like the synth letters. I don't know what to call them.
Yeah. The neon sign.
Yeah, neon
letters.
sign. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
And then there's a couple questions. First one being, what is one IP house you would love to see?
One IP house. Let's answer that for Lily.
Okay.
You want to answer first? Do you have one?
Yeah, Fear Street.
Fear Street?
Fear Street.
Alright, I have one too. Scream.
Yeah.
It was supposed to happen in 25 and then didn't. I would love to see Scream.
Yeah.
I want
for sure.
Ghostface in a house. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, Scream for me. Scream for me.
And then the other question is, what is your thought of RIP tours?
I think they're great. We have a friend that does RIP tours that usually like is the tour guide that does work at uni. That was my old slang when I used to work at uni. That works at Universal. I think they're great, especially for like, let's say like first timers or people that want to get more of the lore of what's going on behind the houses and the scare zones that's going on. RP tour guides will actually get into that with you.
Yeah.
Obviously, yes, it's pricey, and it's even more pricey if you want to just do it like privately with you and your friends or whatever. But I think they're great. I think RP tour, you get like first, like you get VIP entrance into the houses.
Yeah.
You get to basically get VIP entrance into the park, things like that. You get to go into La Bamba, have literally a buffet of all the food at the booths that everyone else has to basically pay for.
Yeah.
But you get that there. So I think RP Tour is a great experience. I've never done it. I just know I've watched creators that have. I know we have the friend that is the tour guide. I've never done it. I'd like to. It's just very pricey.
Yeah.
But it's worth the money to me.
Yeah, if you have the money, it's definitely worth it, because pretty much alone, if you were to go in and buy every single food item at Halloween Horror Nights, then you've paid as much as you were going to pay for the RIP tour, and you can
True.
have access to the food. Plus, if you pay for express passes, you'd be paying just as much for the RIP tour. Like,
Yeah, we just really
You just
don't
have to
do it
balance.
because, I mean, we spend a lot already on frequent fear, especially with the price raise this year. We spend a lot on frequent fear to attend as much as we do.
yeah.
And adding an RIP tour one of the nights onto that.
Yeah. Because we do live a good bit away, so there's a lot of extra that goes into it, too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Roulette wheel for Lady Luck.
Oh, for the
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. How'd you know? How do you know the insider information? Do you work for Universal?
Someone said Oddfellow versus Vecna.
That'd be interesting.
It would be very interesting. Then we have One House I Want is a big one with all the icons. Maybe like a power struggle with all of the icons.
So icons captured?
Icons captured?
Again? No, I'm cool with that. Just
No.
name it icons captured, ... again.
Someone said Black Ops Zombies.
Yeah. If you're going to go down the video game route, yeah.
And then Shadows of Evil would look so cool as a house.
Shadows of Evil.
I don't know what Shadows of Evil is. Care to
I don't know what that is.
Enlighten us?
Shadows of Evil.
Random World.
But, yeah, no, if they go down the video game route, yeah, COD Zombies, yeah. I haven't thought about COD Zombies since I was like 12, though, but COD Zombies, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
They could do some cool stuff. I mean, they could do zombies easily. They've done Walking Dead, not doing Last of Us. They've done Zombie Land.
Yeah.
They could do Walking Dead. I'm not Walking Dead. They can do COD Zombies.
No, they cannot do the Walking Dead.
But yeah. But anyway, so we will be going to the park a lot, and I did want to talk about this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
We will be going to the park a lot, and if you do see us, don't be afraid to say hi. If you're a viewer and you want to, you brought in what I was going to ask you to bring in. If you are a viewer and you see us, make sure you say hi to us. We will be there. I know one cemented weekend we will be there is opening night. Opening weekend. We'll be there the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, whatever, how long it is. We will be there every single day of that. So if you are attending one of those days and want to say hi to us, cool. We're always down to go and marathon a house with you. Like, cool. But we will be handing these out. She's been hard at work at this, and I guess everyone else on the HHN Twitter is hard at work on these as well. We will be handing these out if you come and say hi to us. We're going to give you a bracelet. We'll let you choose your bracelet, depending on how many we have already given away by the time you find us. We'll let you choose your bracelet, and you can have a bracelet either saying it's the Horror Fiends or something that relates to this year of HHN. So, like I said, don't be afraid to say hi to us, or we're not going to, attack you if you say hi or run away.
Yeah.
So, you can come get a bracelet from us.
I didn't realize this was going to become a thing. I was like, we should do this in case we run into anybody. And then I've seen like 2 or 3 other people also saying they're going to make friendship bracelets for Horror Nights. So
yeah, come.
Y'all make some too.
But ours are fiendship bracelets. Get it? Because the Horror Fiends?
I didn't realize what you said at first. I thought you just said themed bracelets.
No, they're fiendship.
Fiendship bracelets. Yes.
Aha. Trademark pending. Patent pending.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. They said, that's so cool. And then Chris said, hopefully we'll see y'all on that first Saturday. And then Horror Homies said
We'll
they're
be
going
there.
October 18th.
We're going to look like every other person. We're wearing black and everything.
Well, not me.
Oh, yeah, you're not.
I made a bedazzled dress.
Well, not on Saturday. Or are you wearing that Saturday?
I might, because I think opening night I'm going to wear something different, because I'm going to try and make an odd fillet.
Okay, I'll tell you how to find me. You'll find her based on the hair, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just
well,
look for the.
Like this.
Oh, well, you'll find her. But if you want to find me, which I'll be with her, but if you want to find me, I know with opening weekend I'm wearing old HHN shirts, and I doubt a lot of people are going to be doing that. So if you see someone wearing an old HHN t-shirt that looks like a scrawny noodle, that's me. And I'll probably have a camera like this, like, "Hi guys, oh, this is Horror Nights, we're here." That's me.
Or I will have bright orange and bright purple hair, and possibly a bedazzled dress, depending on the night you catch me.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to find us, that'll be that. Or we'll probably be in Oddfellow's house, marathoning it. If you want to find us, we'll probably be there.
We'll be hanging around. Won't be too hard to miss, I don't think.
But yeah. Who thinks it's going to rain on opening night?
Don't even start. I'm manifesting no rain.
Look, we got lucky last year.
No rain.
But, do we think it's going to rain opening night? Who's going opening night?
That would be a good question to ask. And if you're going opening night, are you doing stay and scream, or are you all just gonna wait for 4 hours at the gate like we've done in the past?
Do stay and scream. Please. I mean, you can literally, well, depending on where they have the stay and scream locations this year, if you don't want to miss the opening ceremony with Oddfellow, if you're like really interested in Oddfellow, they usually have one in Minion Land now, I guess. It was Production Central before. They usually have one over there because they have one for Hellblock Horror and stuff. So if they have one again there and you don't want to miss the opening ceremony, but you still want to get in the park before everyone else, there's usually a stay and scream area over there. But if you really want to get into Stranger Things or The Last of Us, they usually have stay and scream in Springfield and in New York, and that's where both of those houses are going to be. I believe Last of Us is near Springfield, and Stranger Things in New York. So,
Yep.
I recommend stay and scream, especially with how packed it'll be. Did that scare you again, the thunder?
Yeah!
Um,
I saw the lightning too. My soul just left my body. These
Yeah.
people are probably like, how she survived Horror Nights?
She wears earplugs. Oh, I let her secret out. She wears earplugs.
Oh no, they're all
Actually,
gonna know.
don't frown at the earplugs. A lot of people
No.
wear them. A lot of people
Yeah.
wear them.
Honestly, it makes the experience so much better.
Yeah. But, all right. Wow,
Let's
we are
see.
like an hour 45 into this.
Oh, we are.
This is our longest stream so far.
Yeah. But yeah, have some people going, like that first weekend of September, obviously, September 6th and 7th, opening night. Seems like a pretty good amount.
Opening nights are going to be packed.
weekend.
If you've never gone to opening night before, good luck. I recommend if you want to see the opening ceremony and you don't have Stay and Scream, get to that gate at like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because your HHN diehard fans will be up there already.
Yeah, I remember there was one year that we were like 4, perfect.
Yeah.
And we had actually gotten there around 2, and there was like nobody really at the gates. There was like 3 or 4 people maybe sitting right at that very front spot. So we were like, we have time to go grab food, come back. By the time we got back, you couldn't see anything from where we were waiting. So you do have to get there quite a bit early. And make sure you drink water and stay hydrated. Because I don't do that, and it always makes me feel bad.
Yes, and make sure you eat beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have a tradition of eating and then going to wait for like 5 hours. Make sure you eat, especially if you're waiting that long in the Florida heat.
Definitely.
Bring what we used to do is we bring umbrellas, even if it wasn't raining. I mean, it's a good idea to bring umbrellas anyway. It's Florida. It's gonna rain. But we brought umbrellas to opening night, usually while we wait outside the gate, because that sun gets really hot, and that umbrella will kind of create shade. You may, PO a couple people behind you once everyone's trying to see opening ceremony. But take care of yourself.
Yeah, we can always close the umbrellas right before the ceremony.
Yeah.
But keep them up until then.
But we're not taking that chance this year. We're doing Stay and Scream, baby. We ain't waiting outside this year.
Maybe at one point though, just for the nostalgia.
Nah, because we're not gonna get Stay and Scream every night.
No.
Jesus Christ. But
But I do want to suffer in the heat one day just for like the nostalgic feeling.
But we've evolved.
We have evolved.
Oh man.
We're learning from our mistakes.
So anyway, what I want to talk about to close it out, because we're getting late now. I don't want to break too much of a record right now because we're gonna have a stream the night before opening night with the HHN opening night eve stream. That's gonna be a lot of energy going on, and I want that to break a record. I want that to be the longest stream we have. So couple more things before we end here. Next video we have coming out is going to be our hype lists for HHN this year, as far as zones and houses. Another thing we will be talking about in that video, so make sure you're watching it, is the 1K giveaway. We're going to be talking about that. I mentioned this last live stream. Hit 1K like last week. Excuse me. Oh my god. Or I guess this week now. We hit 1K and we made that little dorky video. If you haven't seen it, it's called The Week in the Life of HHN Fan. But we'll be talking about our 1K giveaway where we're giving away 3 different things: 2 Stranger Things pops and 1 HHN 29 shirt. I don't remember the size right now. If it doesn't fit you, I'm sorry, and you win that, mount it on your wall. But we will be giving that stuff away, and there'll be details how to enter that in our next video. It's going to be really easy to enter. It's not like you have to do some crazy thing. You don't have to pay anything or nothing like that. But another thing I want to mention is we do have a Discord, and I will drop that link in the chat. We have a Discord. It's very fun over there. A lot of people talking about HHN. We also have a channel just for horror if you want to just talk about that. We do have that as well. So I'm going to drop that in the chat real quick. Hello, chat. Let me get to my stream.
I'll just read some of the chat while you're working on doing that. Brandon said he loved the dorky video. I love the dorky video. I watch it every day to start my morning. Not actually, but I do watch it quite a lot because I love it very much. And then someone said, I came in so late. Are you guys going to the food buffet thing in August for HHN?
Oh, the Taste of Terror? No. Like, I understand why you would go. By the way, that's the link to join the Discord that I just dropped in there. But I understand why you would go, because you want to experience it earlier. You get a Blinky cup, I believe, with it. You get to eat the Horror Nights food beforehand. But at the same time, like, as content creators, there's going to be content creators already there. Like, you're going to have content creators making the same videos, reviewing the same exact food. There's no point in me making it, right? There's no point in me paying the for us, like, $300 to go eat the food when, a lot of other creators are going to have videos for you already for it. We'll just eat the food at Horror Nights where we can already get it at the event, not to pay extra money for it. But if it's something you want to do, by all means, I don't judge anyone for wanting to do it.
I think it could be a cool experience. I do like that you get your freestyle cup and your blinky cup while you're there.
Yeah. We're just gonna basically tell us what the blinky cup's gonna look like and what the freestyle's gonna look like. So we'll obviously tell you that when we know, either in the Discord or on a video. But we don't have to pay the money to find that out.
Yeah. But besides that, I do typically just like to eat the food at Horror Nights because it's an experience to do that, and I don't know. I feel weird just like eating Horror Nights food.
Yeah.
Everybody said it's a tax write-off. You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Honestly, even given that, like, it's just not quite enticing enough for me.
Honestly, if it was cheaper, by all means.
Yeah, $160 is a lot.
But like, I don't know, for that much.
Yeah. Plus, there's also the fact that, like, I can't eat that much at one time. Like, even though they're saying it's portion sizes, like sample sizes. Wait, did they say it's like full portions?
I have no idea.
I just said portion sizes.
You seem like you knew.
I don't remember if it's like sample sized portions or if it's like a full portion for everything that they're going to be serving. But even if it is just sample sizes, like I could probably eat like 3 or 4 things and that would be it.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to try everything else. And then you're just going to have to go back to Horror Nights and try the stuff you didn't try there, which you're just going to end up spending double, triple the amount that you paid there just to try everything else.
Yes, we will, what is her name?
Christine,
yes. I'll have a whole video during the event just covering the food.
We will definitely be doing that.
Because I want to try everything. I like food. I may not look like it because I'm a tiny guy, but I like to eat food a lot. I'm a big foodie. So yeah, I will definitely be covering the food at HHN during the event. There'll be a whole video on it. So definitely. But hey, it may be. It may be. I saw it. I saw what he said. Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look now.
But anyway, another thing I want to talk about before I forget, we have Spotify playlists. I don't know if you're here beginning of the stream. But we've had Spotify playlists for about a couple weeks now, specifically catered to HHN 32 Hype. They are linked in the description below. Feel free to follow those, add them to your Hype playlists. Basically just the hype is for HHN. If you drive a long distance to come to Orlando for HHN, maybe that'll help you out on your ride. There's 2 playlists, one that I made and one that she made. One more for like the Taylor Swift era of HHN, and one for the one I made is more like the soundtrack of like metal versions of The Last of Us, metal versions of Stranger Things, of The Devil Went Down to Georgia, things like that. With some Ice Nine Kills songs in there and things like that. So if you want to check out those playlists and see if that's for you, they are in the description. Also, if you want to become a member of the channel, we do have that available for you to become a Haunted Homie. Perks for that is live stream after parties. Like once we end, we go on an after party. Is what we're gonna start doing with it. Also, you will get exclusive content from us, either videos a few hours before they premiere, or maybe a meetup in HHN during the event, just a whole night where we get with you guys, the members, to experience a whole night with you guys, running through the houses, getting food, drinking everything, if you're 21, obviously. So that's just some perks for that. If you want to do that, by all means, you don't have to. Your support here is enough. But I just wanted to mention that. Is that everything? Yes? As far as promo-wise for us?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
I did figure out that it is not sample-sized portions, but it is a limited, like, palette. Like, it's not gonna be everything that's gonna be at Horror Nights. It's only select items. So how many items are you getting for $160? Because there's like 50 of that, your blinky cup and your souvenir cup, and your photo.
I have no idea.
But yeah, so.
But anyways, August, even though speculation season's done, I mentioned this in the video I just put out, but even though speculation season's done, we're going to have more content for HN 32 and Horror Nights year round with HN 33 after this. But we're going to have like first timer guide coming out in August. We're going to be having the little fan film we have that's going to be coming out in August. We'll have more live streams like this every Sunday, and whenever, I believe a Thursday, the night before HHN, we will have the HHN opening night Eve stream. I might try to stream in the park at some point during opening weekend. I don't know which day yet because I know I want to vlog completely opening night. So I will have an opening night video or opening weekend video coming out as well in September, beginning of September when it opens. But I think I want to stream in the park too. It won't be good quality. There won't be probably a starting screen or anything like that we have now, unless I can figure it out to where I can get that. It'll be on my phone. Like, audio may be terrible, video quality might be terrible based on my service in the park. But I think I might stream during opening weekend because not everyone can experience opening weekend. So then you can see it live. But yeah, we will have more videos coming out in August. What'd you laugh at?
Someone said it's just pizza fries.
What, the Taste of Terror thing?
I guess. I was just imagining how upset I would be if you got there and it was like pizza fries and twisted taters.
Am I the only one that doesn't like twisted taters?
I don't vibe with the twisted taters.
Pizza fries, I could eat pizza fries all day. But twisted taters just taste odd.
Well, every time I've gotten a twisted tater...
Or maybe I haven't gotten the right flavor.
I would say, maybe I haven't gotten, like, the right cook or something. But every time I've tried a twisted tater, it's, like, got none of the seasoning on it. Like, I see them go and put, like, the stuff on it. But it doesn't taste like anything besides unsalted fried potato.
Yeah.
But I do want to try the one that's got, like, the chili and stuff on it.
Yeah, if it has more seasonings, maybe it'll be better. We really like the Chance PB&J.
Oh my God, the Chance PB&J.
I hope that comes back because that's literally our favorite food out at Horror Nights. But I did like the petrified rat tails as well.
Those
like
were
the funnel
alright.
cake with crab. I like crab a lot. So like I really like those. Pizza skulls were good, but they did make me like in the hotel just in the toilet. I literally. How can I say this without crapped out a pizza skull in the toilet? I was gonna say the other word, but monetization.
There's been many times that I've like just gone because I was like I need to censor myself.
But yeah, no, their food's always good. But is it good coming out?
I want the maggot corn dog again.
That was good too.
That was so good.
I'm sure we'll get Chucky themed food like Stranger Things.
I wonder if they'll bring the Chucky burger again.
The one with like Fruity Pebbles or
Yeah,
whatever.
'cause
I didn't try that, but
I
kind of want to try it though.
Yeah.
Or I hope they have an Oddfellow one that's kind of like carnival food.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Like cotton candy and like.
Anything cotton candy flavored and I'm sold.
Yeah, like cotton candy and maybe some like donut burger or something.
What if they make a cotton candy drink?
I don't know.
Oh my
Gold
gosh.
Juice needs to come back. I like Gold Juice.
Gold Juice slaps.
I hope whatever this Peacock bar is has like themed, drinks maybe to like certain things on Peacock, like a Michael Myers thing or maybe Jigsaw thing. But yeah, now I'm just getting hungry.
I am too. Like a burger with some donuts on it sounds so good right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm hungry.
Brandon said the Chucky burger was amazing.
Was it?
That's good. Hi, Rihanna. Dad jokes.
Rihanna's in the chat? Rihanna? Like the Rihanna?
Yeah, it's the Rihanna.
Anyways, this is where we're gonna end, guys. We hit 2 hours now.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't want to break too much of a record, create too much of a big stream because I want to have a large stream. Welcome to the Haunted Homies, Christine. Welcome.
Thank you.
We'll have our after party next stream, not this one. But thank you for joining. Welcome to the Haunted Homies. Let's go. But when you join Haunted Homies, the longer you are a Haunted Homie, you'll become more of a pumpkin in your badge. So right now you're just a paper bag with a pumpkin face, but that doesn't mean you're worthless. It means you're a paper bag with a pumpkin face.
It means you're baby pumpkin. And then eventually you become big, giant, scary, mean pumpkin.
You literally, if you're, when I was creating these icons, like it's funny because the longer you are part of the Haunted Homies, you become like a bigger pumpkin, and then like the final transformation is like this pumpkin that's like, ah! It's like this holy pumpkin. I don't know.
So the goal is to become the holy pumpkin.
But thank you for joining. Welcome. But yes, we will end the stream here. But we will not have another live stream on Sunday, and we'll have a video coming out in a couple days or tomorrow, depending on how fast I get it out, of our hype list of all of what's going on in HHN 32. And like I said, the first timer guide and thing like that coming out. But besides that, do you have anything else you would like to say before I close it out?
No, just see you in the fog, everybody saying see you in the fog.
Yes, see you in the
But
fog.
we're gonna say it again, so.
Thank you all for joining tonight. It was great talking to you for 2 hours. I did not realize we were live for 2 hours.
having a
But
good time.
besides that, We will see you in the fog, and we will see you in the morgue. Peace out, everybody. Bye.